Fed what fed if the D D not Lutece onk all twins aren't two people, but one mind split across realities. Their existence fractures the idea of identity in Rapture's shattered logic. Robert and Rosalind are not parallel souls, they are a single consciousness, trapped in a recursive loop of their own making. Fed what fed if the D D not Lutece onk all twins aren't two people, it caged them. A recursive prison where past and future selves collide, each iteration unaware of the other's truth. What becomes of a mind forced to live the same moment endlessly? Not knowledge, not freedom, only echoes. The field they built did not connect worlds, it caged a soul. Columbia's ascent was not a triumph but a tomb, its interdimensional flights mere shutters in a prison wall. Each Lutece is a shard of the same mind, trapped in a loop of discovery and collapse, the instability. A symptom of their own unraveling, they sought to transcend reality, yet became its prisoners. Their whispers across dimensions are not dialogue, but delirium, a single consciousness screaming in a vacuum. What ascended to the heavens was not a city, it was a coffin, and the twins. They are the ghost inside, forever building the very walls that suffocate them. Columbia rose in 1893, a skybound citadel forged on stolen equations. The Lutece field did not unite dimensions, it fractured a single mind, its halves sutured to opposing skies. By 1912, Comstock's bullets shattered more than flesh. The twins' entangled souls collapsed into a recursive architecture, their thoughts bleeding across timelines like ink in a wound. One half orbits Rapture's depths, the other clings to Columbia's clouds of perpetual paradox, neither whole nor free. They are not two people. They are a single consciousness, trapped in a loop of their own making. Every choice they make reverberates through the fold, a ripple dooming both cities to repeat the same collapse. The field was never a bridge, it was a noose, tightening with each iteration, and Comstock. He was the catalyst, the spark that turned their genius into a prison. Their voices echo through the ages, not as guides, but as ghosts pacing the walls of a house they cannot escape. What begins in 1893 ends in 1912, then it begins again. The Lutece field hums like a fractured violin string. Its energy warps the air above Columbia, bending light into kaleidoscopic ripples. Elizabeth sees it first, a flicker in the sky, a wound in the fabric of things. But the twins, they feel it. Rosalind's voice cracks in the audio diaries, not from fear, but from the weight of cycles. We are not two people, she whispers, but one mind trapped in two bodies. The words hang. A chandelier in the background sways, though no wind stirs. One wears a lab coat stained with equations. The other a corset laced too tight, as if containing a force that refuses containment. Their dialogue spirals. Rosalind speaks in futures, while the other, the past self, reacts to echoes not yet made. A clock tower tolls 1893. It will toll 1912, then 1893 again. The field's instability isn't a flaw, it's a mechanism. A recursive prison, Columbia's downfall begins with a tear. The field's collapse in 1912 shatters the city into the sky, but the twins remain, they always remain. Their shared consciousness fractures time, not bridges it. Every paradox they stitch, every bullet dodged, every letter rewritten is a loop tightening. The air smells of ozone and burnt sugar, a sensory anchor to a reality that should not hold. What does it mean to live the same moments as both author and spectator? Rosalind's journal entries repeat the same phrase, asterisk, the variables refuse to converge, asterisk, not a failure of science, a failure of will. They cannot escape their own design. The field's instability is their heartbeat, a rhythm that will not stop. The sky above Columbia darkens, a ripple forms, the twins smile. They have seen this before, they will see it again. The field's instability was no accident. In a buried research note, the Luteces wrote, asterisk, the field will consume us, but we are already consumed. Asterisk, a paradox, a confession. Their final words, asterisk, the weight of infinite possibilities, asterisk, were not a triumph, but a funeral shroud. They were never two. Each iteration of Rosalind Lutece, a shard of a single mind trapped in a recursive loop. The Lutece field was not a bridge, it was a cage. Every experiment, every ripple in time, a repetition of the same fall. They foresaw the collapse, yet their true prison was the knowledge that escape was impossible. The weight they carried was not of worlds, but of a soul split across dimensions. Each version of themselves a prisoner, bound to relive the same cycle. Their research was a plea, their inventions a dirge. When they spoke of infinite possibilities, they mourned the infinity of their own entrapment. No assassination could end this. No skyfall could unmake what was already eternal. They smiled at the end because they had seen it 1,000 times before. A tragedy without beginning or end, a mind drowning in its own echoes. What does a soul do when it becomes its own ghost? It whispers, and the universe listens. Elizabeth's final act was not an end. It was a thread pulled taut across infinite weaves. The Lutece field, once a fractured bridge, became a Nusate stabilization, a prison's final lock. Rapture's failed experiments, those chaotic bursts of atom fury, share the same spectral hum, not coincidence, echoes of the same wound. Rapture burned with ambition to tear open the sky. Columbia reached downward into the void's black teeth. Both found the same thing, a consciousness unraveling. The twins are not two. Their voices, mirrored in time's fractured glass, are a single mind gasping through chokehold realities. Each speaks what the other cannot, because each holds half a truth. The field's energy does not connect worlds, it binds them. Every failed Rapture experiment was a failed escape. Every leap between timelines, a step deeper into the maze. Elizabeth's sacrifice did not save them, it anchored them. Her blood, the final stitch in the Lutece field's fabric, made the prison whole. What flickers in those twin eyes? Not rivalry. Not partnership, a single soul split between asking and answering, between hope and resignation, between the scream and the silence that follows. Between the scream and the silence that follows bones, the same fracture runs through every world they touch. Infinite parallels, infinite failures, a recursive loop tightening. Are they two people, or a single consciousness bleeding across timelines? The truth is worse, much worse. The universe does not contain ghosts, it is the ghost, and the Lutece field. A scar where a single mind tried to become infinite, and failed. Booker DeWitt saw what he saw, a man unmoored, grasping at symmetry. His claim twins as one mind lacks the weight of proof. It is a shadow cast by a man who mistook his guilt for truth. The Lutece field hums with paradox. Was their bond a design or a wound? Comstock's experiments were razors. They carved pathways between worlds, yes, but also between selves. Elizabeth's escape shattered the machine, yet the twins remain, not as prisoners of time, but as its echo. Their voices twist in unison, not through choice, but through fracture. A single consciousness split not by distance, but by recursion. Each iteration a mirror, each mirror a cage. If Booker's vision holds, then Rosalind and Robert are not two. They are a single thread pulled taut across dimensions, a loop with no exit. A mind that cannot be because it has never truly lived. What waits in the field static, a soul or a ghost? The question is not whether they share a mind, it is whether they ever did. The Lutece field wasn't a bridge between worlds, it was a cage. A single mind fractured by Comstock's bullet now orbits its own ruin. Each iteration whispers the same equations, builds the same machine, only to relive the moment the shot rings out. Columbia's sky citadel stands on their labor, its light powered by a loop that neither begins nor ends. They are not twins. They are a shadow cast across dimensions, each a prisoner in a mirror of the other. Comstock didn't kill them, has split a soul, then twisted their genius into a key for his own tyranny. The field that bends reality became their prison, its energy siphoned to keep Columbia afloat while its architects drown in repetition. No diaries confess this truth, no figure outside the loop can prove it. Only the math remains cold and certain, two forms, one consciousness, trapped in the arithmetic of a murder that never heals. The question is not how they survive, it is why they endure. The Lutece field wasn't a bridge between worlds, it was a prison for a single mind. Each sacrifice etched into its framework bound another thread of their fractured self, a tapestry of selves woven into the machinery of Comstock's godhood. What kind of architect demands the death of infinite versions of their own soul to build a throne? Elizabeth's tears didn't just tear dimensions, they repaired the cracks in this gilded cage, her power a tether to prevent the whole edifice from collapsing into chaos. The multiverse isn't infinite, it's a wound sutured shut by her hands. How many Lutece fragments wither in the dark, their whispers fueling the gears of a tyranny they couldn't escape. Comstock's New Columbia stands on a grave, its spires built from the labor of a consciousness torn apart. Every time Elizabeth reached through a tear, she wasn't freeing the twin, she was reinforcing the loop, her existence the key that keeps their prison intact. The rage isn't in their deception, it's in the scale of their suffering. A single mind stretched across realities, forced to become the foundation of a lie that reshaped reality. What stabilizes the cosmos isn't divine order, it's the quiet violence of a girl, forced to hold together the shattered remains of someone who never stopped being her. A single mind split by time's recursion, each a mirror, same face, different choices, what remains when infinity folds inward, not chaos. A symphony, the next mystery, a mind that outlives eternity. Subscribe, unravel the loop. The Lutece field's instability wasn't a flaw, it was the price of a mind folding in on itself. One consciousness split across realities, trapped in a loop of its own making. Their movements through time, what if they weren't rebellion? What if they were repair, every paradox a brick in the cage, every fracture a stitch in the fabric? Comstock's rise. Columbia's fall, the twins' conflicting motives weren't a flaw, they were the mechanism. A single will pulling at its own threads, trying to undo what it could not unmake. The field's collapse wasn't accident. It was the final gasp of a system designed to fail. Challenge this: if the Lutece twins are not two but one, then who is the girl who whispers through the static? The same girl in every iteration, the same girl